Good evening, WTU. I hope you're all keeping well as can be. As I promised, I've managed to do it for a change. The first time I've managed to say I'm going to do something and managed to do it for a long time. A live feed update this evening at, I think it's just turning 9 o'clock. I hope you're all well. It's all been mad times. I don't know if you're all feeling it. I bet you all are. Yeah, so I'll get straight into it really. As we expected, we've had no reply from the Secretary of State as yet. As Robert said, they're bouncing from one crisis to another. So it's going to take a bit of time, at least, for them to reply to the invitation to respond to the WTU case outline. So Robert said we're going to have to be a bit patient there. We expected it really. He's sending another reminder on Monday to prompt them, to remind them. They haven't yet heard from them. But you know, it has only been 2 weeks into the new year from Christmas. So it's no surprise. The point is though, we've got a solicitor chasing up for a change, not just us lot from WTU. So we just, be patient, hopefully going to hear from them soon and get a more concrete response to their argument. I have to say I have reservations because, well, we were never very hopeful that they were going to just say, oh, by Jove, you're right, and change the law. We were always expecting them to stick their oars in and be bloody difficult about it. And I don't know if many of you saw, I think it was early last week, there was a group of 60 academics, global academics of professors from all around the world, and they had made a research evaluation of the effects of prohibition and prosecution, and in short that they recommended that a legally regulated market for all drugs and decriminalisation was the only way to reduce crime and protect people. However, the government's response to that was they had no intention to change the law, and if they legalised all drugs, if they legalised the market for all drugs, then all these naughty drug dealers would just start selling guns instead, which I thought was an absolutely preposterous position to take. Okay, we're going to continue on this failed policy that's causing immeasurable harm to society because they might start selling guns instead. And the answer to that really is let these people carry on doing what they're doing, but as legitimate business people rather than unlicensed business people as they are now. And that would be my answer really, would be an equitable access scheme. Give them all 12 months with which to register themselves as legitimate businesses, set themselves up with licenses, business rates, insurance, quality control, distribution networks, all the rest of it, like they would do for Budweiser or Carling, and sort it out that way. If you take their trade from them, and that's the only trade they've ever known, then yeah, I suppose they will have to look to other things with which to put bread and butter on the table and roof over their heads. And if their only experience has been drug production and sales, it might be difficult to get a job in the normal world, as it were. So really the only way to reduce crime would be to employ these people, let them become licensed entrepreneurs. So it was very interesting, but the reason I talk about this article by these 60 professors that our Home Office of no experts just so readily refused is I believe we should be trying to engage with some of those 60 professionals, if not all of them, and trying to get them on side for the WTU campaign, because in essence they are saying what we're saying, prosecution, prohibition doesn't work, legal regulation, decriminalisation does. We are focused on cannabis, but my personal belief is it applies to all substances that we can use for recreational or spiritual or creative therapeutic purposes. I don't believe in prohibition at all, no matter what the substance. So Robert agrees, I hope you will too, that we should reach out. So my plan now, when I say my plan, I've got very little time, as most parents in the country, they're like me now, they're homeschooling. With my conditions, it makes it very difficult anyway. To have any spare energy and spare time is virtually difficult, but the idea being is to gather a short list of experts that we would like on our campaign and in our court case, and once I have a short list of email addresses, names and an outline of people, Robert will then approach them and invite them to, as the solicitor representing us, he'll invite them to come and work. I don't even know what the legal terms is, so I'm not going to try and use the right words, but have them their expert opinion on our case, as it were. So there's quite a few people to shortlist, 60 people on that one, but there's others as well. So, if anyone in the group has any experts or professionals that they feel would be very good to have as part of the evidence bundle of WTU, please make a note of it. So that's working on. Robert's also aware, and I've been made aware. Sarah Richards, one of our members, and also Liam Little. I think you're watching now, Liam. I hope you're okay. The discrimination and prejudice that parents suffer because of their beliefs and practices with cannabis. So for some parents, because they use cannabis to manage their health for whatever condition, they are being denied access to their children and having the courts dictate to them that they must stop taking, for some of them, a lawful prescription. I mean, mine's not a lawful prescription, but some have got a lawful prescription, and no one in the world's got any right to tell them that they can't have it. Little old me, we might have a bit of a discussion about it, but some people have got prescriptions and the courts are still dictating them they mustn't use their medicine that's best for their body, and this is just shameful, shocking and wrong. And also, in addition to that, it's parents using. Well, I've had it myself actually. I divulge members of my family, a member of my, well, they're not actually, it's not my blood family, behaved inappropriately with me, sexually abused me. There's no other way to put it, right? They got me to perform sexual acts in front of them that I didn't want to do for their own gratification. Sexual abuse. I was only 14. And when I divulged it to my family in 2013, they all declared I was mad. I'd been using cannabis. In essence, cannabis is an easy stick with which to beat us, and often we are beaten with it, whether it's in the parent courts, whether it's in family courts, whether it's in jobs, communities. So there's this whole level of discrimination and prejudice that people suffer because they choose cannabis, our beliefs and practices. So the idea is to try and evidence this into the caseload. Now, I'm very limited on my time, so I'm not sure how this will be facilitated, but we hope to try and make it happen. So I'd ask any parents that have suffered, or anyone that's suffered this sort of discrimination because of their medical practices or their beliefs and practices with cannabis, to get in touch with us, really, and we'll try and build up this evidence caseload in that area. I'm just trying to think what else we need to do. I've had one business lady, a small business, has offered to donate an item each month to be raffled off, not for me to receive it and have to post it, because that's why the raffles have stopped. I'm not physically able to manage the posting of raffle goods. In fact, if we have a local member that's able-bodied, get in touch please, because I've got a cupboard full of raffle items that I need to raffle off, but I haven't got the physical capacity to do so. I need some assistance basically, and so far I haven't managed to find any through my own friend network. So, but that's all waiting there to be raffled off to raise some money for the cause. And this person wants to try and put a raffle in, and it was sent direct to the winner from the company. So hopefully things will start growing and developing in that area again soon. I've been reaching out to various media outlets, magazines, Cannabis Health I wrote to last week. They've responded to say they are very keen to hear my story, hear the WTU story, and get it out to their audience. And on that note, I put a call out asking for people to send me their local email address for their local report. So I put a link there where they could search for it most easily. Unfortunately, it's been a pitiful response to that. In fact, heartbreaking is the only word to describe it. Less than, well, I can count you on one hand, maybe 1.5 hands, the people that actually bothered to take the time to find their local newspapers. I thank you all deeply from the bottom of my heart. Maybe others, you just haven't seen it yet. If you haven't seen it yet, please look in the announcements. It's the call for media email contacts. The idea being, if we can build ourselves a database of newspaper email contacts, we can be sending every month updates about the WTU campaign, in the hope that eventually one of these newspapers will pick up our story, because so far only free press, alternative press outlets have picked it up. The main media so far haven't spoken about the WTU campaign at any great length, I suspect because we are very politically inconvenient, because we're shouting about the truth about the whole situation of cannabis prohibition, the hypocrisy, the injustice and the political conflicting interests. We're definitely not talking about medical cannabis, which is some fictitious constructs that is very politically convenient and profitable, highly profitable. So On that note, I'll quickly mention, I want to say happy birthday to Simon still. The reason I say specifically, I don't often do birthday shout outs because I feel for anyone I miss it's a bit unfair, but I do send private messages occasionally. But here we have a calendar. I should actually introduce it more thoroughly. This is the Naked Truth, hashtag TNT. It was inspired, it's a fundraiser not for the WTU, it was for one of our members who has a very, very small hemp farm where they were trying to cultivate hemp for biodiesel, but the deers keep eating it. So there's very well nourished deer but not very much hemp. So the idea was that as brave activists would bare our souls and the naked truth about hemp and cannabis to try and raise money for a deer fence. Unfortunately, the family was struck with personal tragedy shortly after this, so we didn't quite get it to be as successful as we'd hoped. But yeah, I'd encourage you, if you haven't picked up your copy, I am Mr. November, by the way. I won't take you to it. You'll have to go and buy it if you want to see it. But if you go to, on the back here, we've got, it's back to front there, sorry, www.bigskyfoundation.org.uk, and these, I think £10, yeah, £10. I've got 6 I owe for those. I'll be clearing that debt up soon, don't worry about it. So yeah, you know, it's good fun, and on each page, apart from Beautifully Naked Activists, you have a page full of information about hemp and cannabis. So there's 12 pages of delightful information. I actually sent one to my dad and my auntie for Christmas presents. And they wrote back. My dad actually got on the phone, and he doesn't very often phone me, I'll say that for nothing. And he got on the phone and he said to me, well, the answer's very simple, we just need to switch to hemp. So that's the naked truth, and it made my dad see the truth. So I'd encourage anyone to get it, because it's for a good cause. Try and get the deer out of the garden so they can make their own biodiesel and fabrics maybe. But it's just a cracking bit of fun, a bit of titillation, a bit of entertainment, a bit of education, and it might one day be a bit of history. And while I'm on about it as well, because there's fundraising here going on from Alan Buffery, we have Words of Weed and Wisdom, and also Inside My Hat and Other Heads, compilation of writings and poems and thoughts from activists and campaigners around the world. Every bit of profit from these, Alan Buffery will donate to the WTU campaign, and they're available on Amazon for £10 and a penny, free delivery. So I'm just giving those a shameless plug, because I'm not very good at these things, and I thought I'd better start trying to pull my finger out. Which takes me to, it's horrible, right? I have a lot of people contacting me because they're in court and they're facing charges, and we often, when I say we, it's not just me, but there's other people they contact, and you know, the WTU caseload now is on the website. Feel free to go and have a look at it all. It can be submitted as evidence in your own cases, by all means, along with the Seed Our Future document. But I often feel, you know, Robert has tried to help people, but unfortunately he is limited on his pro bono. He can't work for free, can he, at the end of the day? But most of us haven't got any money to pay for him, and he does pro bono for the WTU, but that doesn't mean we've got a solicitor at our beck and call. That means we get the spare time of a solicitor, and he doesn't happen to charge us for his spare time when he can find us some, which really, it's inadequate. There's no two ways about it, really. But we have potentially great potential in the group to raise adequate funds to employ a proper legal team, or an adequate legal team, to give all this the justice it needs, which it really doesn't. So when people phone up and need help with cases, well, what crossed my mind was, why don't we all put £1 in a month, like a subs, and then if any of us get bust and need legal assistance, we draw on that to pay for the legal fees, and just things like that. You know, we need to start pooling our little bits to make a big bit, so we can help the campaign move forward. So that's just an idea. I've no idea how to set up anything like that. It's just little old me here, and a small admin team. Speaking of team, we have merchandise going out. I know some people are still waiting patiently. I will be speaking to Billy, who manages the merchandise for me, because again, I'm not able to do it all. But again, he's also managing his own personal life, health, and circumstances. So I ask for patience there. So far, actually, you've all been very patient. I just ask for more patience. We don't actually sell any merchandise. It's all just given away at no charge, because we're a community group, and any money that's donated is then used to pay for more, and it goes on in that cycle. And any of the extra funds that it generates are then used to pay for publications, campaigns and things like that. At the minute we need a publicity campaign, so that's what we need to be saving up for, to get funds for a publicity campaign, to get the WTU campaign known about nationwide on the news. Those handful of people who've sent me emails for media contacts, I've had one volunteer as a press liaison, Philip Anthony Bevington. He used to do this for us anyway, actually writing out to MPs, but he's going to do it in a more official capacity for the WTU. So I'll be forwarding all those emails to Philip, God bless his soul, he's going to be very busy very soon. We have a drafted press release and that will be getting out soon as well. It's very difficult now managing my condition and my children pretty much, well, alone, because they can't go to see their mum because there's been COVID cases at where she works, so I don't get any downtime or campaign time. So I'll ask you for continued patience. I'll do whatever bits I can whenever I can. Really, we're just waiting, bloody watching Michael, Secretary of State, to get back to us. But in that time we need to be networking and building our expert base. Right, I think that's everything. Any questions? I'm not sure if anything else. Hello everyone that said hello. I'm sorry I don't actually kind of engage very much on this. I just get it all out. So I hope you're all well. I hope you're all keeping your heads together, man. I mean, I'm like the eternal optimist. Really am the eternal optimist, and it's even getting to me now. So for people that aren't the eternal optimist, crikey, it must be a difficult time. Keep positive. Where do they get their evidence for all these naughty drug dealers would go into selling guns? Someone says here, where do they get their evidence that all these drug dealers would go into selling guns? They haven't got evidence, have they? It's all opinion. That's Priti Patel's opinion from what I read in the article. So it's their opinion that that's what they'll do. I don't know. Do Budweiser do gun running? Oh no, they're not. They're an actual drug dealing company by law. Do Heineken, do any of these other, Jack Daniels, did they go into drug running when they changed law for alcohol prohibition? No, they went into alcohol production. So if these drug dealers and drug producers are given opportunity, why would they go to selling drugs? You need that smoke for you fucking right I do. It's been one long day, hard day. It's official, my little daughter, who says hello by the way, my little daughter has named me a Feliz Granny Dad. The reason being, by the time my little daughter gets to bed, which is normally around now, I've taken to just having an hour or two's rest in front of The Walking Dead, using her knitting loom, trying to knit things. I've done one scarf so far. It takes a very long time, very slow, and I'm hoping it might be rehabilitative for my hands. I'm now doing a blanket for my grandchild that is being grown. So yeah, I'm a granny dad. On that note, I'm going to go. I'm going to have my smoke. Someone said, "Hey, you need it." I'm going to take their advice and go for it. And then after that, I'm going to just have an hour's rest and go to bed. Tomorrow, I will be, because it's Saturday, not a learning day, so my little daughter's happy. She can be doing things about the house that she wants to do, and I'm going to spend a few hours compiling the press release and the media list. I will also, I've realised I haven't actually uploaded into the WTU page here now where I'm speaking, the evidence case file. I haven't put it up here. It's on the website. I haven't put the testimonials in here. I haven't put the all the documents in here. So I intend to try and get onto these bits tomorrow. It will all depend on whether I can use my arms in the morning, because if I can't, then I can't use my laptop. So we'll see what happens. I'll try. Excuse me. On that note, lots of love, people. Keep your spirits high. Don't let it get you down, man. You've got to keep positive somehow. Keep faith. Keep well. As soon as we hear from the Secretary of State, which will no doubt be blah blah blah, with no intention of changing the law, blah blah blah, and that's what we expect, and that's what we're going to have to go and challenge. So if we can get those 60 experts, it would be very helpful in court, wouldn't it? On that note, good evening, folks. Take care. Speak soon. Goodbye.